Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Nazmi bin Nazarudin 1811239, and for my part, I'm just gonna give you a brief explanation about planning in terms of whatever you want to do before you want to make an application, or you want to make your own website, or you want to make your own native application. So this planning is of course important for every single daily life in human beings, because without a plan, you will fail. Simple as that, of course. So the first thing you do, okay, when it comes to planning, is that you need to have a vision. You need to have a vision in mind that what are you going to do? What are you planning to make? A vision. What did you see? For example, I want to make an application that will help people to buy more products from my store. I don't have to sell it from each store by store. I just want to sell products through my applications. That is what we call vision. A vision. What is your real goal? Okay? What do you want to achieve from that? Okay? Also, when you make things, and then you're gonna ask yourself, what makes it different? What makes this thing interesting? What makes it tick, I will say. Of course, there's gonna be difference. You cannot fight against any other companies if it is the same. For example, YouTube company exists. You don't make another application that looks exactly like YouTube. You have to make it way different than YouTube. For example, you want to make TikTok. At least TikTok is way different than YouTube, for example. So you can actually make your own self like a compromise, or make it a little more difference. That is what we call vision. You don't make things yet, but you envision. It's like you're imagining things that you can see the possibility that people will use this kind of application. So you hope for it, for example. Okay. That is when you are trying to make your own like storyboard or something like that. So that is what we call as vision. You make plan. Okay. And then you're gonna work on the revenue. Otherwise, why would you make an application or website without a revenue? Okay, you need to have benefits from them. Okay. So what is your target for the revenue? Let's say for starters, I want to make at least about 100,000 ringgit for a year, for example. You hope to gain that profit for a year. Okay? So, you try to work on what is the price for you to make an application, or what is the price for you to upload it on localhost server. Okay? That is what we call as you try to figure out the cost for you to spend. Okay, the most benefit part, if to those who are making an application or software, if they don't have to spend on it, that is the most beneficial thing. I try my best to find a way to have a local host for myself, but it is impossible because you need to have a local host and you have to pay local host no matter what. But the cheaper the better. I will go for the cheapest price for you to upload it on the local host server. If you can make your own HTML website without using Wix. So yeah, that is the beneficial of learning HTML programming. Okay. And then you're going to start talking about your client or your suppliers, for example. Let's say you want to focusing on selling products of mugs or t-shirts, stuff like that. So you need to work on the supplier. Who is going to demanding all the supplies? Are you willing enough to have these kind of supplies? Okay, are you willing to pay more enough for them? Okay, so and then we need to talk about the risk of having this kind of website. Okay, the risk. What's going to be happening if you do this? Okay, how much will you going to spend? That's another thing that you need to working on with. That's why you need to have some sort of a table, and you need to draw out the risk of every single thing when it comes to before making your own website. You need to have that. Of course, you need to plan that before you're doing those things. Okay. And then on the third, we're going to talk about the audience. Okay, the audience. Of course, obviously, the point of having application is to target the audiences, the people that you wanted to focusing on in order to attract them promoting your application or using the application. For example, for gaming application, of course, you have to target it on kids or any kind of gamer that was totally sophisticated on gaming. Okay, those target type of people. And for shopping application, they are targeting for the kind of shopaholic person or adults or teenagers. Okay, that is the targeted audiences. Okay, types of audience, I will say. Okay, and now we're looking at, sorry, my bad. Okay, and now we're looking at the market. Okay, the market. Okay, for example, if I upload it on website, how many people will look for it? How many people will found this website? Okay, this is exactly just like how you selling your stuff on a market or a shop, for example. Okay, when it comes to want to find a shop, okay, you want to rent a shop. Will you rent a shop on a place that were completely abandoned or alone, or a place that were fully crowded with people? Of course, you want to buy, you're gonna rent a shop that was completely crowded with people, so you can get more benefits and more money out of it. Same goes to website, or same goes to any kind of platform, any kind of internet out there, worldwide website. Okay, you need to have some way to attract more audiences to look for website. That's why you need to have social platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, any kind of social media platforms to attract more customers to pay attention to the original website or the application. That is the main use of social media, to attract more customers. Okay, that is the main thing. That is why when it comes to making stuff on social media, you need to understand what kind of audience that you are looking for, because otherwise when you're making a video or making a social platform, you will not understand fully of these kind of people. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same pattern as making YouTube video. It's the same pattern. You have to understand the kind of type of people. Not all people are interested with the kind of topic that we're not interested. For example, kids love playing cards. Okay, and then all of a sudden you change the topic about chess. Kids does not like to play chess, so they're gonna leave you. You have to find a way to get their attention and just keep focusing on those parts. Focusing on the cards, for example. Okay. And now, yeah, like I said, the connection between the revenue and the market, you need to know the taxes about you spending the website, or how many months, not how many months, I mean like how much do you have to pay per month. Those are the taxes I will meant. So it's not easy to handle those things, but if you write it down, if you list it down, you will finally understand that you can actually manage these things easily. Okay, listing it down, simple. That's the easiest way I will say to you. So that's just about it. I hope this is not too complicated. I try my best to make it as simplistic as possible. This is what I can get. So thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll move it to the rest. Okay, take it away.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hakimi Nizam, and I will be presenting slide analysis and the process map. Okay. SWOT analysis is a tool that is used for planning product or company. SWOT means strength, weakness, abilities, and threats. Strength are internal capabilities that may help company reach their objective. Weakness is internal limitations that may interfere with company ability to achieve objective. Opportunities are external factors that may be able to exploit its advantage, and threats are current and emerging external factors that may challenge the company's performance. E-commerce presence map. There are three sections here: type of presence, platform, and activity. Presence map is used to find ways to spread our presence of the company or for a product. Here is an example. You can use a website or app as a type of presence, and the platform can use for mobile, tablet, phone, and the activity that users can use to find presence of the company is from searching, displaying, and affiliates and sponsorship. Next is social media. The platform can we get from Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, blogs. Activities are from conversation, engagement, and sharing advice. From emails, the type of emails we can get from student list and purchase list, and the activity is from newsletters, updates, or from sales. The last one is social media presence, offline media presence. You can get from newspaper, from TV, or from radio, and you can get the activity from education and exposure and branding.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syazani bin Sazali. My metric number is 1918041, and I'll be presenting my map on phase and in phase. We should break our project into small number of phases that could be complete or achieved, so that we know what we want to achieve in the long or short term project of our project. Okay, this is the six basic phase. There is phase one is planning. In phase one, we want to envision our e-commerce present and to determine personnel. To determine personnel, we want to for this milestone, we want to achieve our mission statement of our project. Next is phase two, which is a website development. In website development, we acquire content, develop a site design, and arrange for hosting the site. We want to achieve the milestone for website plan. Phase three is web implementation. We want to develop a keyword and meta tags. We also want to focus on search engine optimization, and it also help us identifying a potential sponsor. This milestone help us to achieve a functional website. Phase four is social media plan. It help us to identify appropriate social platform and content for our product and services. It help us to what we call that marketing our services, and advertise our product or services. The milestone for this phase is to help achieve a social media plan. Phase five is social media implementation. We develop a social media account. For example, Facebook, Twitter. It will help us to advertising and marketing on which platform. Okay, milestone for this phase is to achieve a functional social media presence, so people know our product. And finally is phase six, which is a mobile plan. For mobile plan, we develop a mobile plan because we should consider an option for porting our website to a mobile device, since nowadays most of us use phones as a computer. And the milestone for this is to achieve a mobile plan mobile plan. That's for phase. And next is budget. Okay, budget is developing a preliminary idea of what cost will involve of our project. Basically, we want to know where our budget will go to, and so that we know where we need to prioritize our budget on. This is a component of website budget. It is, as you can see, there's a seven component. Okay, first there's a hosting service, telecommunication service, software, and hardware. This four component only take 5% each of our budget. Design take 50%, and content development take 30%. Finally, the most budget we go to the marketing, and it take 35% of our budget. As you can see, marketing take the most budget because we need to we pay other to market our product services. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Ghaisannaufal Taher, 1910331, and I will be covering the subchapter Development Planning in our Chapter 3, E-Commerce, Building an E-Commerce Presence. Now, before we go through development planning, we have to be where does the development plan come from? This comes from the first phase of SDLC, which stands for System Development Lifecycle. If you have taken PMIT before, people who have taken PMIT before will be familiar with this term, especially the first two phases, which is in order to create a life system, you have to do analysis and planning. Both are interchangeable in this subject, for better way of teaching the subject. They're both interchangeable. So let's get to this one. First, let's go to business objectives. What is business objectives? Business objectives is the capabilities of what you want your site to have. It's quite literally what you want it to do. This can be, for example, execute a transaction. If you want to make a online shop, for example, you want it to be able to execute a transaction, or else it's not going to work. A shop of which you cannot make any sort of payment is not a shop. It's just something you look at. It's just a shop. It's just a website you look at things, and it basically means the bare bones functionalities of your system/website. Another example, if I can give, would be to another one is like if it's a shop, again, if I may give the same thing, is display goods, because if you need to shop, you need to be able to show the products of what you're going to sell. Without showing them, the customer won't be interested in buying at all. They won't trust your website. So you must do that. And another one to give off the top of my head is to collect customer information to better create analysis of what the customer wants and needs and the trends of what will happen. That is the objectives of what the website or system would have to do. Now, the system functionalities, that is the type of information systems capabilities you will need to achieve to achieve your business objectives. So the system functionalities supports the business objectives. It needs to, the business objectives uses the system functionalities in order to achieve itself. One of them, the system functionalities example to help you better understand, are databases. Because without databases, you will not be able to collect information and store them. Customer databases are crucial if you want to keep tabs of your customers, so you can better personalize uh, their viewing experience in your shop website. If I may continue using the online shopping example. And the last one, the third part in the development planning, is information requirements. Information requirements are information elements that the system must produce in order to achieve the business objective. So again, the information requirements help support the business objectives to better achieve the business objective. Another one example to help you understand what it does, what it is for example dynamic text. Dynamic text and a graphics catalog. Sorry if it's taking a while, and sorry for my bad handwriting, because this is my first time writing on a tablet to present. This is the fundamental. It's not a fundamental. It's more like it's what we usually take for granted if you want to see how a system is made. Dynamic text and graphic catalog is what you'd see typically in every e-shop you go to, and another one is, for example, product descriptions, like text, a body of text that describe what the product is, where it's manufacturing, when it was created, and so on. These are the three main important points you have to consider during the development planning of your system development. And later on, I will cover two more topics regarding in-house and outsourcing of hosting and building a website, as well as the logical and physical design when you are designing said website. I will see you there. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Imran bin Rahman, metric number 1919129, and I will explain about cost of website designing, logo branding, maintenance, and prototyping. First thing first, I will not give you specific amount of ringgit, specific amount of money. I will use three level of price range. There is a low, mid, or high. First thing first, in website designing, the website needs a domain. Domain is the website link, website name. In this case, the cost is under low cost category. The prices may differ based on the domain extension, whether it's a .com or .net. It is also different based on registration request or its availability. The prices may actually reach several $1,000s. Second, website hosting. Hosting is an online services for website to be viewed on internet. And next we have SSL certificate. It is going to display the verification. It is also enable an encrypted connection and enable website to move from HTTP to HTTPS. It is available for free, but you have to find some kind of sources to get it for free. Next, the website theme. It is overall look, feel, and style of your website, and it includes something color scheme like dark, or maybe you want different kind of color scheme and layout and style element. It is going to be your direct representation of your brand, and of course it has an impact on your users experience, whether they feel comfortable with the theme. It is always available for free, but the free one is always the basic one. If you want advanced theme, and you have to pay. Okay, next, e-commerce functionality. Basically as online transaction, something like promotion, discount code, or easy to use checkout and multiple payments options, online banking, credit card. The next, we have website content. It's based on textual, visual, or oral content. It is available for free, involve text, images, sounds, videos, animation, and price depends on the agency or writer that you choose. Okay, next, integration. Your website have to available, send, or receive information from another website or application. You can also integrate it with other third-party apps to have more features on your website. And next we have search engine optimization to improve your website ranking on search engine result page, SERP, in order to be visible and relevant to people online. Website need to rank as high as possible so it can be more visible, more easy to search. Next, marketing, promoting in all order to bring more visitors, potential customers. More visitors mean more opportunities, more customers. Marketing is of course available for free on social media. You can also pay for a better marketing on website, and that's all about website designing. For logo, divided into three: low cost, mid-range, and high-end. Make it yourself is the cheapest option, and use logo generators. For low cost, you have limited features, limited design to choose from. On mid-range, try working with freelancers, or you can simply organize logo design content, and it can also be done online. And the most expensive one, try to hire professional design agency, and they will conduct market research, analysis of your competitors. They will employ their creative team to have the best logo that they can produce based on the price that you offer. For branding, I list all the tasks involved in brand development according to their range of prices. Social media as the cheapest option, signage, vehicles, and packaging as the most expensive. Tasks: maintenance and optimization, similar to the designing, maintaining features from several errors, domain name, SSL certificate or to fix encrypted connection. Website hosting, general website upkeep is general basic website update and content management system. You can update your tag, your images, videos. Technical support is maintain functionality of your site services. Website analytic reports are to improve engagement with audience according to the report. The last one is e-commerce system. If you need to update, to remove some kind of products or services. And the last one is prototyping. There is 3 stages. First one is the cheapest one, to validate form and fit of content. This is the early stages to develop manufacturing processes and technique. Only that we don't have to create the product, just develop processes and technique. For second stages, need a prototype for all practical purposes. The prototype in the final version of the product to the same manufacturer, same packaging and instruction. You have to create it same as the final version of product. Final stage is the really expensive one. It will cost more than actual unit cost, so enables marketers and manufacturers to investigate in fine details, kind of flaws, to go over in fine detail to find flaws in the system. So that's it from me about cost of website designing, logo branding, maintenance, and prototyping. Thank you, and assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back. I'm going to cover the next 2 subchapters: system design as well as building and hosting, outsourcing and in-house. Let's start with the system design. When you are designing a system, you have to create a different. There are two different ways. Actually, there's more, but for now, let's go focus on 2. Logical way. There's a logical design, and a physical design. Let's start with the logical design. The logical design is, as you can say, abstract, meaning that it is purely by concept. By concept design, it's not real in a sense that it's not what's happening in the real world yet. It is conceptual is the best way to understand. To better understand, let's go to the second point. Simple. Simple is what I would like to describe the diagram that you have to draw is. The diagram would be, for example, the data flow diagram. This data flow diagram is how it's self-described. It's how data will flow from one place to another. For example, the customer website makes a HTTP request to to a server, but to a login verification for the customer to log in, and they would communicate with a server, and so on and so on. Another one would be you might know is the ER diagram, the enhanced relationship diagram. How each part of the component would relate to another in the database, many to many, one to one to many, and so on and so forth. Now let us go to the physical design of the system. In this case, the physical design is material, and it feels redundant, but I have to emphasize, it is material. You have to think about the real world when you want to create this physical design. You translate the logical design that you've made into the physical. That is the physical design, and that's what I meant by material. Specified uh, is the name of the game here, which is what you have to think of when you want to create the diagram. You have to be you have to think of everything. For example, when you want a person to connect to the internet for you, would it be Wi-Fi or cable or satellite? That's what you have to think of, and not to mention. You have to also think of the servers. The server itself, there are multiple types of servers. For example, HP servers and or Dell servers. These are to name two of them. And to put it even further, you should also think of the size of the server. How much can your server handle? How much data your server can handle? Is it 5 terabytes? Is it in terabytes? Is it 5? 10? That's what you have to think of when you want to create the physical design. Now, let's move on to the next subchapter, which is building and hosting your website. These, as you can see, I have separated them into outsourcing and in-housing. First, let us go through the building, which is on the top half I've put. Let us start with in-house. When you want to build in-house, means you have to build the website by your own, by yourself, or by your own company. You cannot, you do not hire or lease a vendor to do it for you, or you do not require services of other businesses that would give you tools to create your website. HTML and CSS is the bare bones fundamental programming of creating a website. When you want to, it helps you know what's inside a website. In addition to HTML and CSS, there are things like JavaScript. JavaScript is how you want your website to move around, interact with the customer. For example, dynamic text, your animations. That's basically what you want what the website would do. Your company alone can make your own website. You can build the system with you. However, it would be cheaper, but it would also be a lot riskier that it might not be worth it. Because the system your company has to work out the system. For example, if you want to make an online store, you have to think about the security, the transactions, how would it process the carts, and so on and so forth. But there are ways that it can be worth it. All right. If you do not do outsourcing, you actually do get to be able to customize your website a lot greater if you're able to pull it well. A lot of the time, it's very difficult because you have to think about a lot of things when you want to build the website, especially if you want to make a system that is actually quite, especially want to make a system that will be used by a lot of people to bring up the online shopping. Now let's go to outsourcing the building. The site package tools are typically actually there's also another one, pre-built templates that your companies would give you. Sorry, let me finish this writing. There you go. There are pre-built templates as well as packaged site building tools. Pre-built templates are actually both B2B and B2C, but packaged site building tools are more of a B2B kind of thing, which is business to business. Business that that create these tools, create and sell these tools, only sell to businesses that want to use these tools to create websites. Whereas pre-built templates are typically more towards B2C. They sell directly to a consumer who wants to create their own personal website. The pre-built templates, you probably already know them. For example, WordPress. These can be like a WordPress or Google Sites. I'm sure some of you guys have already used it before, or Wix is another one I would say. The pre-built tools, the package site building tools are a lot more complicated. Well, for one, I'm not a company, so I have not been able to encounter any of the package site building tools. But when you outsource the building of your website, it's tried and true. What does that mean? Tried and true means it's less tricky because it has already been worked with. The people who create these websites have already have a lot of experience. They know what works and what doesn't work. Meaning it's a lot less riskier when you trust this one. Of course, depending on your choices of who you hire to outsource it to. But there are a lot of professionals who have built the website, tested them, built multiple websites, in fact, and tested them to see what works and what doesn't work, and if security is good or not. This is what I mean by tried and true. People have tried them, and it has worked and stayed true. There are, of course, a little bit. The one downside, of course, is a bit more restrictive in your choice, because you have to work within the framework of what the vendor or the company that you outsource to gives you. Now, let's go with hosting. Now that you've built your website, you have to think of how to host your website. Hosting is a whole different thing. Let us cover the in-house first, because it's a lot more simple. You have to think of purchasing your servers as well as thinking of the location of where you want to put your servers, as well as maintaining the servers. These three are very expensive to do. If you have to do it, and remember, you have to do this all yourself. Your company has to do it all by themselves. You have to buy servers. You have to think of a location to place the servers, as well as and hiring people to maintain the servers to make sure that the website, the system runs smoothly, or else it won't work, or else the website might not work later on. This is a very expensive process. That's why most companies would rather just outsource many things. For example, they just outsource them to other companies and just paying monthly fees. Well, not monthlies, but just fees. It could be yearly. One of the examples is co-location. Now think of all the troubles that you have when you want to host your own website. You have to think about purchasing servers, you have to think of a location, and you have to do maintenance. Co-location is when you lease or pay a vendor to place a physical server at a certain location. You'd of course have to pay rent, as well as you have to pay for the services of the vendor to you rent physically renting the space that you want to add your server, and the server and the vendor will maintain it as well. Maintains the server. You have it's all there. The vendor doesn't place it. More rather, you find a vendor at a certain place that you want to lease them, so you get that host, so they can host your server. Now it's a lot. Now let's go to a more, let's say, lot more new technology in terms of technological advances is cloud services. If co-location is a physical rent, it's you physically rent the space to for your server. Cloud services is more of renting virtual spaces. Virtual spaces. When you want, what does that mean? Is that in the servers, or sorry, in the infrastructure of the vendor you want to do, there's of course, let's say there's space in the company, or the company has its own infrastructure and computing power for services in the cloud, which is somewhere. You pay the company to allow your website to be hosted in that virtual space for your website, and then paying for it. One of the biggest cloud services for the website is Amazon Web Services, AWS. If you want to look them up yourself, Amazon provides them. The companies there usually have lots, like very well-developed infrastructure for hosting and servicing, and you pay them so they can use. You may rent a virtual space in their infrastructure, and that's it. That is all there is for both physical and logical system design, as well as building and hosting of in-house versus outsourcing. Thank you very much for listening to my part. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.